Okay, so this little video will be to kind of show you how I've changed organization based on things that I've learned about Carmen and based on things that I've been learning in this class. So this is from autumn of 19, and this is the gamification of my course based on Plants vs. Zombies, and I actually won the InstructureCon Educator of the Year based on this, but I've learned so much more since then, and I think my course is even better. This was the homepage, and you can see everything is there in a table, which I felt was an easy way to organize things, at least in my mind. It had all of the different links that the students could get to, and all they had to do was click on the pictures. So notice there's no way to get specifically to the modules, but if I click on the link and I go to all of the class PowerPoint files, what you'll see is how I organize them, which before was simply you can get to all of the things that you need organized nice and neat in my mind by plant list 1, plant list 2. Here's all the lab handouts. Here's all the lecture handouts. Here's all of the PowerPoints. And that made sense to me. Looking back, it's something that probably made it very challenging for students. You can see that my courses all have images on their dashboard squares. So one, I can tell them all apart easily. Each image is different. And two, the students will see them differently also on their apps or their dashboard. And so it's easy for them to find the course that they're looking for, because mine always will have an image to it. So here you'll see this is the landing page now for the exact same course. This is 2 years later. And so this is some of the things that we've learned pandemic-wise. I now embed announcements rather than linking them. It goes immediately to the page every time I type a new announcement. It is immediately updated on the home page. I give them an idea of what the course is about, and I give them all of the links that they need to get to various locations, however they want to get to it. They can clearly use the links on the left-hand side if they want to. You can see I've blocked off some of the things that I don't think they necessarily need access to right away. There's a start here, which will be an explanation of how Carmen works and how to navigate through Carmen. They can find my contact information right there. I utilize in the syllabus a table of contents. They can certainly download a copy of the syllabus if they want to, but the nice thing is if I go to the table of contents, I can click on the things, and then I've added the links to go back to the top of the page. So they can very quickly navigate to what they need, or if they would like to download the Word file, then they can do that as well. The modules are now organized very, very differently, and I think this aligns more with your course evaluation checklist, and in fact with my university's Carmen best practices. We call Canvas Carmen here, so it aligns with the Canvas best practices a lot more. So they always recommend that we do an overview of the week, and I'm actually going to click on week 2 because our week 1 we don't meet on Mondays on the first week of the semester. So I always try to have a picture that's related to something that we're learning that week. In this first week we learn annuals, so here's a picture of some pansies. Tell them what we're doing, give them a little idea of what the topics are going to be about, so their learning outcomes, and a roadmap for things. What I'm going to start doing is when I put the roadmap in, I'm going to build the links right into the roadmap, so they don't have to keep clicking next, which they can obviously. They will be able to simply click to the parts that they want linked on this particular page. So that will ease the module look a little tiny bit. So everyone is organized into weeks. Like tell them the calendar week, because we don't organize by topic. This is a plant identification course, and it's not organized. It doesn't build on each other, meaning you don't need to know your maples to be able to do well on your oaks. So it doesn't build on itself in that sense. So I give them the days of the week and what week that we're on, so they can clearly look at the calendar and correlate things. I've learned how to use emojis, so some of them, not everything has to have an emoji, but some of them have a nice little emoji to help them figure out what it is they're doing. And this is where I was saying I think the next time I'll just link all these things on that first page so they can get to everything without having to click through the modules. Utilizing headlines now to be able to separate out lectures and labs, the early labs, the later labs in the week. You'll notice here, when I first built the course, I was only going to have a Tuesday, Thursday lab, and then they added a Wednesday, Friday lab. which I forgot I didn't catch as I was building the course over the summer. So you'll see it changes a little bit. I will always link any assignments that are open in every single module. One of the cool things that I found is they can get the plant list for the week. They can download that into their iPads. All of our students are given iPads, so they can download that into their iPads, use the iPad to take their notes if they want to. But I also have embedded into each one an interactive map. And you can embed this through ThingLink, and this is a map of where the plants are located on the campus. And this is a map of the order that they're in, so they can simply follow along with the exact walk that we took. And if they click on one of these, they will a box will open up that has 3 or 4 pictures with it. It has me pronouncing the name with it. There's a link where they can go to the Missouri Botanic Gardens website where they can get a lot of the detailed information should they happen to miss class or they need a reminder. One of the other things that I'm doing with this one is gamification again. This time, rather than based on Plants vs. Zombies, I'm basing it on the Blair Witch Project, which I'm now calling the Worcester Witch Project because I live in Worcester. So if you go to the Worcester Witch Project, you'll see an explanation of what that is. There are links and buttons there so that they can go to the various areas. And everything is tagged with that little female emoji at the top. Very quickly know which things are part of the game and which things are not part of the game. So anything that has a little female emoji in the title is going to be part of the game. And this is where they can earn extra perks and bonuses for participating in the activities within the game. And even if I go into the quizzes and the assignments, you'll see everything that has that little female emoji is part of the game. And they don't have to participate in the game if they don't want to. So it's, again, very quickly a way for them to see what they have to do and what they don't have to do. The lesson plan that I built was to allow them to have editing powers for pages, and unfortunately I didn't even learn about that until well into the semester through this course. So I'm hesitant to add something that's not on the syllabus to their things that they have to do. So I will run that as a lesson plan the next time. So one of their assignments is I give them pictures of a garden, and they have to look at the pictures, they have to identify the plants, they have to evaluate the health of the plants, and then they have to evaluate the design. Do they like it? Why or why not? The next time I run this course, what I'm going to do with this lesson plan through some of the things that we were learning here in the SAMR models is we'll put them in groups. They all have their iPads. We'll go out into the gardens, and I'll each give them an area of the gardens, and I'll give them the same thing. They have to identify the plants, they have to evaluate the plants, they have to look at the environment that the plants are growing in, make appropriate recommendations as to whether or not the plants are doing well, not doing well, and evaluate the design and why they like it or why they don't like it and what they might change. But this time, I want them to do more than just passively absorb my viewpoint of the garden. I want them to take their own pictures and take their own video and narrate their own thing so that they can build a page and use some creativity in doing the same assignment, but now they are taking on the bulk of the work and it's not filtered through my lens. So that's what I hope to do, is to utilize this. I think if I'm looking at the course evaluation checklist, I do hit a number of the things that are in certainly the single stars. All of those images are mine or are the Unsplash images that are linked through the Carmen when you're going to add images. They're either mine or coming from Unsplash. I do think I hit a lot of the 2 stars and a few of the 3 stars. I'm really intrigued by this personalized learning, evident opportunities for student choice. I guess I want to say that I'm doing some of that with the Worcester Witch Project, where they can choose to participate as much or as little as they want with that, but I'm not convinced that that's exactly what that's intended by that. So let me scroll all the way down. All the Worcester Witch Projects are always things down at the bottom. So every week, DLC opens up, and this is where I think I'm going to start changing my modules for those overviews. So you'll see here in the directions, everything that they need is linked there. They don't have to click through the modules. It's all there in the page. So they can go there, they can find that. Those are things that they should be doing anyways, is practicing with their vocabulary, practicing their plant identification. The lecture quizzes that you can see here are linked to a small lecture quiz on taxonomy. Those are the types of questions that I'm going to ask them on their exams, on their written exams. And then the dig deeper is always kind of fun sort of stuff. And then the PowerPoint is I've set up something where they can the quote unquote Worcester witch moves through our arboretum, and I give them clues via PowerPoint as to where the Worcester witch is and what she's doing. So they download this one slide PowerPoint, and they run it as a slideshow. And if you set it up so that you run it as a kiosk, as they mouse over things, they will find areas that they can click. And when they click those things, a clue shows up. And the clue shows that there are several different clues built in. Every week a new clue is added to this, so they kind of have to move their mouse over a little bit as to where the various things are. And you'll see the cursor change from the pointer to a hand saying it's a clickable item. And then it gives them a clue. If you look real close, you can actually see that there's a little quote-unquote ghost standing in the window there. That's the Worcester Witch. And then they can just close that. This one happens to have, I believe, 2. So here's a sound file that's embedded with it, and they can listen to it and figure out where their clues are, and then they simply text me the places in the Arboretum where they have found those clues. So that's another one that's a little bit more interactive, but it does take them out of Carmen. I did find out that you can actually embed a PowerPoint if you use Office 365, but it doesn't embed animations, and I haven't found a workaround for that, so I just have them download this. So I'm trying to keep them within Canvas as much as possible, but it's not always obvious how are the best ways to do that. I'm just trying to give them some ease of navigation and some ways to move around in where it's not just using the links on the left, that they can move back and forth in lots and lots of different ways.